Hey guys, what's up? All right. It's Double Deuce back. I had a request. Somebody wanted to know how to change out a motor on a HG-P407 gearbox. So I figured I'd do a quick one so to clarify that up for everybody. So here we go. So now it's a simple process. This is a new transmission I bought. And you can see there's actually a website right there. There's the HG-ASS01 is the number of the gearbox, and Hang Gun RC. So anyway, so here's the thing. It's simple to do. It's like a 4-bolt changeover. First you need a 2mm tip on your end over here, and there we go, 2mm. Now on the back of the top there's a cover. You remove these 2 screws here, and I love cheap tools, but it's better than using an Allen wrench. An Allen wrench take you forever. But now get the cover off. Now you got access to, there's 2 3mm bolts here. Now one has a washer on it. The washer goes on the slotted side where you can adjust your pinion. So I know the request I had was somebody wanted to change out their motor and change, to a higher turn and put a bigger pinion on there to keep the speed. So we're going to take this out. Now these are a little tricky because these holes are right on the money. I mean, they're, if you drop the screw down inside the housing down in here, you can just take the front pieces off here, the 4 bolts in the front, and get your screw out, but just watch the bearing doesn't fall out on you. Now, sandwiched in between here is a metal plate, aluminum disc. It's a spacer, and then you'll see your 2 holes, one here, one here. So what I do to make it easier, I start with the bolt that's a pain, the screw it's a pain to do, and I'll get this started in here first, like so, and get the thing in there, because like I say, these holes are really tight on this one. Most of them they're not, but so work this back. If your hole's tight, bring the bolt right, or the screw right back to where it's flush, like so. Okay, then I put the plate right on top, let it set where the screw hole is in there. And now you don't need this plate if you don't want it. You can eliminate it if you want to. I don't know why they put it there. Maybe it's just a good sandwich thing there to put it in there. Now if you're going to make a bigger pinion, all right, and it ain't going to fit in the hole, don't put your pinion on yet. Okay, just put your motor back in like so, and figure out where it's got to go here. This will be the fumble fest. Usually I can bang these out in 2 seconds, but you don't have to remove the gearbox from the truck or anything like that to change it out. You can do it right in the truck if you want to. And now you see the motor, it swivels on there, so you got quite a bit of room there if you want to put a massive pinion on there with a 80 turn motor. That way you can keep your speed for your second gear and first gear and all that, and third gear. Now like I say, you can change your pinion out. They do have a little bit of a recess in here to give you some room, but if you have to slide, if the pinion's bigger than the washer, you can eliminate the washer, whatever you want to do, and then just put it back together that way. And remember your 3mm screw with the washer on it goes on the slotted side over here. Stick it in there, crank it tight. Now, to set your pinion, what I do is I kind of snug it just a little bit, and I hold the spur gear or something, and I get just a little tick back and forth. That's all you need. Don't crank it on there real tight, because you're just gonna end up chewing the teeth up on your spur gear there. Now, another thing, the stock HG-P407s have a really long wire. You don't have to unplug the wires or nothing. You can actually, if you're going to put a motor on there that don't have the wires, you can just clip them off and solder them to your, you know, to your existing motor. But before you solder them, test it. You know, kind of hold the wires on there, test it. And you can see they put a little heat shrink tube on there too to cover it up. You know, to keep it from, you know, usually these things used to just pull off, you know. But once you're done with that and everything else, you can take your cover with the 2 screws in it and set it right back on. Now, one thing I found, if you work with your screws facing down, okay, if you're not going to remove your transmission out of the truck, set the truck up on its nose and work on it this way. Now, you're going to have a battery box and all that in the way. You can remove the battery box if you want to make access to this. But this way here, when you're working down like this, you can support the truck up in the air somehow. It just makes life a little easier to put the hardware back in it again and snug it up. You know, like, none of this stuff had Loctite in it. I mean, you know, if you want to put a dab of Loctite on everything, that way you don't have to go back and chase loose hardware. That's, you know, up to you. So now, if you want to take the motor and transmission out of the truck, there's 2 screws, 3mm screws here that go across the mount of the frame, and in the back, in the cross member, there's 2 long ones back here with a rubber O-ring, a spacer, and like a rubber shock grommet there. Now, you're gonna have to remove your pin for this. This is the hard part here. Pop this off, you know, your cap off that, and take it right out of there, and then remove your front drive shaft. So then the thing will be loose. You can pull it right out, service it like this, and then put it right back in again. So that's to change the engine or change the motor on your HG-P407 101, and I hope it helps you out. And it's pretty simple to do it, so don't be scared, because you know, it's the best thing about these hobbies. You can tear right into them, and you know, you can always say if you lose some hardware, then you got to find some. But anywho, like, share, subscribe if you want. You guys have a great weekend, and I hope you had a great New Year. Adios, man.